This episode of the Code Check contains coarse language, obscene material, and pig's anuses. This episode brought to you by Ron Rucci. Need your website design? Contact Ron Rucci directly. He's helped with websites involving topics like how to build a pipe bomb, how Lucille Ball started the Vietnam War, the most vulgar things you can do in public with a plunger without getting arrested, the finer points of goat seduction, and negging for kids. Contact Ron if you have any website ideas. The more illegal, the better. Okay.
Plug my drug trade.
Your drug trade?
Yeah, I trade drugs.
I'll give you one cocaine for 2 pots.
Right, exactly.
Where's the beef?
Born in Illinois, Clara Peller lived for most of her early life in Chicago, although she later moved to the suburban North Shore area to be near her daughter, Marlene Netchlis. Married at age 20 to a local jeweler, she was divorced 8 years later with 2 children, a boy and a girl. She worked for 35 years as a manicurist at a local Chicago beauty salon. At age 80, Peller was hired as a temporary manicurist for a television commercial set in a Chicago barbershop. Impressed by her no-nonsense manners and unique voice, the agency later asked her to sign a contract as an actress for the agency. Though hard of hearing and suffering from emphysema, which limited her ability to speak long lines of dialogue, Peller was quickly used in a number of TV spot advertisements. She first attracted attention as a comical cleaning lady in an advertisement for the new Massachusetts State Lottery game Megabucks in the late 1970s, and later nationally in a series of commercials for the Wendy's restaurant chain. First airing on January 10, 1984, the Wendy's commercial portrayed a fictional fast food competitor entitled Big Bun, where 3 elderly ladies are served an enormous hamburger bun containing a minuscule hamburger patty. While 2 of the women are commenting on the size of the bun, they are interrupted by an irascible Peller, who looks around in vain for customer assistance while making the outraged demand, "Where's the beef?" Sequels featured a crotchety Peller yelling her famous line in various scenes, such as storming drive-thru counters or in telephone calls to a fast food executive attempting to relax on his yacht, the SS Big Bun. Peller's "Where's the beef?" line instantly became a catchphrase across the United States. The diminutive octogenarian actress made the 3-word phrase a cultural phenomenon, and herself a cult star. At Wendy's, sales jumped 31% to $945 million in 1985 worldwide. Wendy's senior vice president for communications, Denny Lynch, stated at the time that, quote, "With Clara, we accomplished as much in 5 weeks as we did in 14 and a half years," end quote. Today, on the Coat Check, special guest Nick McCarter hates meat and subsequently hates long-since-deceased octogenarian Clara Peller on this, the Coat Check. Ron, if you please. Hello and welcome to this, the Coat Check. I'm your host, Jeremy Mower.
I'm other host, Tom Dominkovich.
And we're here with a very special episode. Everything has to have a first. Now, for clarification's sake, I've heard other podcasts where they take like 20 minutes dicking around to get to the guest. Mm-hmm. And I can't stand that. Like, it's unfair to ask someone to sit quietly in the closet for 20 minutes, like just waiting for us to get to them before they're allowed to speak.
Right.
Like, that's not very good hosting, right?
No.
Tom, how are you?
I'm doing great, Moore. How are you?
Not bad.
Yeah.
You know, I heard last week's episode, so I know that my bidet secret is kind of out.
Yeah. That was a little weird. Not gonna lie.
It was natural.
I just wasn't expecting you to say that.
It came from the art, the
fart.
heart.
More like the fart.
Oh.
Right. Get it?
Boy, we're off to a fast start. We're just kidding. Let's introduce our guest. He is a former guitarist for the band The Jitters. He makes wooden pedal boards that are available on Etsy. He may be one of the worst fantasy football players ever.
No.
He once got so drunk that he took out a sleeping bag and legitimately fell asleep in Ron the producer's front yard at 3:30 in the afternoon. Also, He's our sound guy. He's responsible for the podcast sounding at least somewhat professional. It's Nick McCarter. Nick, stop drinking. How the hell are you doing?
I'm doing just fine, Mower, and I have some corrections. First and foremost, it was Ron's backyard, and secondly, it was 3 p.m., not 3:30.
Okay, I will not amend my notes.
Okay.
Okay.
Our
So
journalists
also,
stand by their sources.
I have been sitting in this closet for at least 20 minutes, and
Yes.
we all have. So,
Yeah, well, that's not true. Tom and I sat in this closet for about 40 minutes because we were waiting for the sound equipment to get fixed because, once again, Mower has had an unreasonable ask saying that we need a third mic so that we can have special guests on in this cramped closet.
cool.
So what do you think of our setup, Nick?
It's pretty sweet. I mean, like I've seen the gear because most of it is owned by me and producer Ron. So I know the quality of it, but it sounds good. It's looking good. Everyone's happy.
Everything's
chill.
great except the content.
Yep.
I'd say actually, from a listener perspective as well, it's the content's been pretty all right. Although I do have a bone to pick with your lovely wife. I think Professor Mower is terrific.
That's what I'm saying. I think she's all Professor Mowered out.
I think so. Because
But you guys like Professor Mower.
absolutely.
I got nothing against Professor
He's
Mower.
wonderful.
So maybe I should have done some research in the 4 episodes since.
Why
Because
would-
I'll tell you this much. I've got my guide for what we're going to talk about, but other than that, once again, no research.
Cool.
Cows are great. That's, that's about it. I can write that down.
You told me that was okay, so that's what I came in with. So this is entirely off the cuff, and I have,
Absolutely.
All right.
And it's 10:55 in the morning. You got a beer. So this promises to be the most productive and enlightening podcast we've had yet.
there's literally no age when drinking is inappropriate at Ron's house.
All right. Old business first, because I want to do this before I forget for a 4th consecutive episode.
Okay.
When we started out this podcast, Tom had a suggestion for an intro and exit theme. Tom, what was the name of that theme again? The original one?
The original one?
Yeah. The funky chicken or whatever.
Oh,
it was.
that is called Chicken on the Rocks.
Chicken on the Rocks. It is an objectively terrible song.
Oh, I like it.
So obviously we didn't go with that in the end.
No.
What Tom neglected to mention to me, I thought he had just chosen a random song that he's like, okay, I really like the sound of this, and I figured we'll get sued one day, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But Tom, you specifically got permission.
Yes, I did. From the band Bomb the Music Industry, one of my favorite punk bands, one of the best punk bands of all time.
Wow.
Oh, definitely. It's a bold
High
statement, but
praise.
it's a bold statement. But of course, it all relies on musical taste. But I think it rings true. The front man for Bomb the Music Industry, Jeff Rosenstock, got to give him some credit because he is the one that did the material for Bomb the Music Industry. He still has a solo career going on. Not solo. He does it with other people, but the name of his band is Jeff Rosenstock. So if you like Bomb the Music Industry, check them out on YouTube or any other place on the internet. And same thing with Jeff Rosenstock's music. So it's all going to be wacky. It's all going to be fun. It's a good time.
So just to recap, the band is Bomb the Music Industry. The song is I Don't Love You Anymore. Jeff Rosenstock provided the lyrics and motivation. Their bassist, John, not to be confused with racist John, who you can find on Twitter, but their bassist, John, gave us permission, reached out to Tom and said it's okay to use this song. If you like their music, go to bombthemusicindustry.tumblr.com. Their library is available there. They're no longer making music, but I'm sure they would appreciate getting the extra attention.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so old business aside, Tom Dominkovich, there is a reason Nick McCarter is here.
Yes.
You went to Montreal last week,
Yes, I did.
and you told us that you wouldn't be able to record for a few weeks. And we understood, and I said, hey, it's an opportunity to get some guest hosts in here.
Yep.
And you responded with, I don't want to be replaced.
Yeah.
So you're here today,
Yes.
despite the fact that you told us you wouldn't be available.
I made it work.
Tom, you know we won't replace you, right?
I just
Like,
get scared.
I'm definitely the most replaceable of. I'm gonna go ahead and say us three. Nick, you're inducted.
I don't honestly like. Now that you have the gear and it's in somebody else's house, I am definitely the most replaceable. You could just like stop talking to me and
No,
not be friends with me anymore, and you'd be
because
like, "Well, we have the gear."
The
so.
second you walk away, I promise you, all these wires are gonna fuck up, and we're gonna be stuck with an unusable sound system. Where once again, Tom and I are sitting in here for 2 hours waiting for Ron to be like, "Why isn't this working?"
I really enjoyed the first episode, which you were recorded on location at the bottom of a well, as pointed out by David Ruiz, and I think it sounds good for being in the bottom of a well.
We used a single USB microphone. We now have 3 microphones, one covered by a sock as a pop filter. We are really moving up in the world.
Yeah.
But anyway, Tom, we'll never replace you. You are the everyman. Bridget likes you a lot more than she likes me.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And, you know, I get that sense from a lot of people. So,
Yes.
Tom, you went to Montreal. You got to see some music. I guess you got to drink some.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah. Well, except I proposed to my girlfriend, Caitlin.
No shit.
Yeah, we had been together for over 5 years, and I thought, now is a good time to do it. We went to Montreal last year, and even with all the homeless people, Montreal is a great city. I would recommend going there sometime whenever you get the chance.
The unsightly homeless. Man, if only they had like a big sidewalk sweeper to just go ahead and scoop them up and get them out of the way.
You know what I like the most about Montreal is that when I was last up there, I got hit on by a pack of daytime prostitutes at about 11 o'clock in the morning in a donut shop. And I don't think there was about 6 teeth between the lot of them, and they were all 40 or pushing 50.
Yeah, when I was there, I certainly could have built a small shed out of all the prostitution flyers we were handed on the street, because we were walking around at like 11 p.m. So
Yeah. It's like Las Vegas with a lower drinking age.
Nick, did they speak in French, or did they speak in English?
I actually, the last time I was up there, I transacted a drug deal in French. So one of my friends purchased marijuana from a drug dealer that only spoke French, and I walked between the two of them down the street of Montreal, like transacting this deal and haggling in French.
Now, Nick, you do understand this podcast is being recorded. It's going to be put out. We don't have like a Patreon or anything. We're not pulling in any money, so we cannot afford any legal fees for you if you get in trouble for that admission.
I've never purchased drugs, even as a proxy, just as a translator, per se. I've never done it.
I'm
I've never
pretty
even
sure
done
that's
that.
still illegal.
Why?
No. They didn't legalize it yet. That's what they got to do.
Legalize it.
Legalize it.
2018.
All right, so Tom, you got engaged.
Yes, I did.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Our little boy's growing up.
Yeah, growing up.
Well,
Taking off the training. Don't do that.
I'm sorry. I was going to scratch my leg. We removed the table in this room because with 3 people, we are literally becoming a fire hazard.
Who would have thought that we needed a little bit more space?
Who could have possibly predicted that on this closet chat?
I love it.
Now,
Wait, is it closet chat or is it coat check?
It's code check.
who the fuck knows?
Yeah,
We change it every day.
we do.
Pretty soon it'll just be like, the rock meme. It's a podcast about rock memes, and ostensibly we talk a bit. So I don't know if this is too personal. If not, I'm sure we can delete this portion from the podcast.
I'm sure Ron
But
will do that, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. He's a very honest producer who constantly works to make me sound like a jackass. Tom, do you want to walk us through how that proposal went?
Sure, yeah.
Was there a lot of pleading involved?
A lot of pleading. No, fuck you. No, Mr. Smart Guy.
Sorry. Just
I
trying to...
am this close to kicking you out of the closet.
He is doing really well as a guest host, and you should be worried. Anyway, I'm sorry, your
Mower,
story.
I hate to break it to you, but I think that Tom, as much as he is irreplaceable, is also the only one who would be willing to sit in this closet with you consecutively. Sorry.
Oh, come on,
Come on.
buddy.
I mean, I'm fine with being
It's going to
a guest.
get real fun in the summer.
It's gonna get.
We're just going to be down to our underwear. It'll be like Jim Carrey and the Rhino in When Nature Calls.
Just remember this moment when you're saying that that's unpleasant, and remind me about greenhouse gases and methane a little bit later.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
So Tom, how did it go? How was the
Yeah.
proposal?
So I got the ring quite some time, and I've been, sitting on pins and needles for, I'd say, about a month or so, just waiting for the right moment. Of course, when you have the ring, you want to get it done as soon as possible. Of course, I know what she's going to say. I know she's going to say yes. I mean, we love each other very much. So I waited till we got to Montreal. There is a beautiful part of downtown Montreal that is called Gay Village, which is decked out in rainbow-colored lights above the streets, and lots of wonderful shops and wonderful people. Again, still a lot of homeless people, but it was just a great place. And I started saying a lot of nice things about her, and how much I love her and how much this relationship means to me. And then I mentioned how I want to take this to the next level. I started reaching into my pants to pull out the box that contained the ring. Caitlin says, "Oh my God," starts bawling immediately.
Yep, that tends
I
to
get
happen.
down on one knee and, open the box, say, "Will you marry me?" And she goes, "Oh my God, yes," and does the little waving thing with her hands to her face as if that will do anything, but it really doesn't. And she started crying. She said yes. We hugged, and then we enjoyed the rest of the vacation. It was probably the most grown up I've ever felt in my life.
I was about to say, I just gotta say here, usually my feelings towards you, Tom, is like a thin veneer of fondness, which immediately just morphs into contempt when you inevitably do something very Tom-like, a new meme on the Facebook page, something like that. But I am feeling some genuine respect for you. That was very well done, sir.
Hey, thank you.
So I
Wait,
think
you have animosity for 90% of Tom's character when he's wonderful?
I hate all of you people.
Oh my God.
It is a struggle to hang out with you guys.
Well, the feeling is mutual.
I know.
I'm not taking it.
Hey, I have worn that on my sleeve. I'm a terrible person. I've said that. Everyone else is like, "No, Moe, you're great." I'm like, "No, I like to keep expectations low."
Well, I mean, admittedly, when you kind of entered into our friend group, when we got to know you, I thought you were replacing me. And, I'm glad to see that we can both coexist in this, friend group.
Well, so far so good. Wow. So, anyway, Tom, congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you.
I'm sure all our coat friends, patent pending, are cheering for you. We'll have to check in next episode and every episode thereafter to see how your wedding prep is going. And inevitably invite everyone who listens to this podcast, possibly through the use of a promo code. So moving on, we don't have any emails to get to
I want to say how
today.
proud I am, Tom, that you actually had the ring and did not pop the question for, I think I lasted 5 or 6 hours. I got it in the mail, and it was literally like Lord of the Rings, it's just glowing in my pocket, and I could not prolong any further. So I asked in our shitty apartment in downtown Worcester while I was making a pizza. I was like, "Hey, I'm down here anyways. You want to do this? Let's do this."
See, my secret was I just took the ring because I had gotten mine a month in advance as well.
Again, that's
And
really prolonged. That's great.
My secret is I took the box and I put it in an end table that I know she never looks, and I forgot about it for a month. That was my secret. And then at Christmas time, I pocketed it, and we're driving an hour and a half to my sister's home where I'm going to propose to her, and I'm like, "Oh, shit, this thing's going to fall out, and I'm going to have so many explanations I have to give." But, managed to keep it secret the entire time.
Did you keep it secret? Keep it safe.
It's secret. Keep it safe. What is that a reference to?
Lord of the Rings, the aforementioned.
I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan.
Was it one to bind them all? And in one to something them all, and in the darkness bind them. Help me out, Tom.
One to rule them all?
Yes, and in the darkness bind them.
Yep.
Darkness.
How did I get that?
I don't know.
Anyway, now
Well,
that we've
you're smart. That's why you got
dismissed
that.
with the pleasantries and my efforts to come off as human, hashtag not a robot. Today we're here to talk about meat. Delicious, sizzling, savory, juicy, crisp on the griddle. I don't know. I'm running out of adjectives
Can I
rapidly.
interrupt you and kind of backtrack a bit? We don't have any emails
We don't have any emails worth mentioning.
I don't
Tom.
believe you. I do not believe
So-
you.
Folks, Tom, needless to say, has been feeling a wee bit insecure in the fact that he's worried he's going to be kicked off the show, which is fair. You have been kicked out of bands and things like that before, and this would certainly follow the pattern.
I've never been kicked out of a band.
I'm pretty sure you have. So,
Wow.
so Tom sent me a couple of emails.
Yes, I did.
He wrote, I can't believe I'm reading your fucking emails while we're in the room together.
I know, right?
He wrote, Sup, fellas. It's Tom, the official leader of the Coat Check Podcast Facebook group with a heart of gold. Nick, good luck to you, you lanky buffoon. Mower, I hate you, and one day I hope we can agree on a podcast name. If you guys have any comments or whatever, email the Coat Check at ihatethisstupidpodcast@gmail.com. We say that at the end of every episode now.
Yeah.
And yet you felt the need to send an email to tell other people to send an email.
You can't say it too much.
And then, later that day, really later that night, when you probably should have been asleep, you did send an addendum subject mower.
I'm sorry, what was that? An addendum?
Addendum.
Addendum?
Addendum? Oh, shit.
Addendum.
Oh, shit, my entire house of cards is falling apart. No one was going to correct me, you shit. Anyway, Tom sent an email, subject mower, body, you suck.
Yep. That was a good one.
So there we go, Tom.
That's a hot take.
I finally gave your shitty emails some reading time. I came here today and I was all optimistic. I brought us donuts. I'm like, you know what? I kind of like this podcast. It's funnier than I remember it being when we record.
Yeah.
And I am just like right back in the shit again.
Mm-hmm.
You guys just put me right in a quagmire.
I'm
Did I
sorry,
pronounce
Howard.
that right, Nick?
I thought it was Cragmire because it's like a crag.
Son of a
it's
bitch.
rocky. Like,
Maybe Quackmire, like a duck.
because I thought at the end of Guts, they hand someone a piece of the Cragmire.
Aggro Crag.
That's why.
Cragmire.
That's why it's
Yeah.
got a fog
Yeah, totally.
flowing out of it
Uh-huh.
because it's a quagmire.
You know, the host of that show was actually my college graduation speaker,
That sounds horrible.
Mike O'Malley.
Mike O'Malley.
The next year they had 2 former presidents. My year we had Mike O'Malley from Guts.
That was what, high school, college?
High school, Jesus.
I honestly
College.
I tuned out. I'm too busy looking at my notes.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that you're just like really surprised that I graduated from college. I think that's what's going
I
on
don't
here.
talk
But
to
no,
a
that
lot
was-
of college
That was
graduates
college.
here.
That was college. Yeah.
I know Ron's working on it, and once he's graduated, he will not have any time for this podcast.
No, he's
But-
going to be too busy driving trains with that engineering degree that he has.
I'm pretty sure that's a different sort of engineering.
Agree to disagree.
Pretty sure. Okay.
As we've learned in our modern discourse, it doesn't matter how factually accurate you're right. All opinions deserve equal time at all times.
Absolutely. Which is why I'm here as a guest pushing my agenda that is admittedly not something I believe in all that much.
So, Nick, you don't eat meat.
That is correct.
Now, there
With
are
a-
some
with a
stipulations
clarification. I do eat anything that comes from the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be a pesca vegetarian,
there. No, just pescatarian.
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 Yeah.
It's also
It's a thing.
I am also a lacto-ovo vegetarian because it used to be that vegetarian meant vegan, and then you had to specify that you are a vegetarian who eats milk and eggs as well, and so I'm all those things. I eat eggs, cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Eggs are called pre-birds, and anything from the sea.
Okay. So we have some ground rules there.
Yep.
But you don't eat chicken,
No,
but you don't really give a shit about chickens.
no, because they're tiny, stupid dinosaurs.
Not the mama.
They are the ugliest creatures. You don't eat pork.
Correct.
That's insane to me. Ignoring the internet's fascination about bacon, like pork is delicious. All parts of the pig. I'll
Okay,
eat
wait.
pickled
You
pig's
just
hooves.
you
I will
just
try that.
said all parts of the pig. I want to remind you of a recent podcast episode where we talked. Where we didn't talk. I've
Yeah.
listened to this a lot.
Well, I imagine that you're in the car listening to this and you're just talking over
mean,
us, adding your own
I
commentary.
yell "what" a lot and grip the steering wheel harder. because I disagree with you guys a lot, and yet I can't, I can't always chime in because it's pre-recorded.
They're unpopular takes for a reason.
So once again, I want to go back to the fact that the first podcast was about a hot dog being cast asunder.
Yes.
And you guys talk about how delicious hot dogs are.
Episode 1, Tom Hates Babies.
He threw the other half of the hot dog.
You just said that every part of a pig is palatable. Did you know that for every hot dog you eat, you've ingested 1.75 pig anuses?
I am perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, me too.
Wow, I really thought that this would be a non-starter for you guys.
No,
you
not
don't
in the
mind
least.
eating anus?
First of all, that anus...
2018, Dad, we all eat ass.
Ron's got that's a hot take, Ron.
Hashtag eat that ass. It's washed anus. It's treated anus. Sometimes it's organic
Here's
anus.
another side of this. When a pig is slaughtered, and I just want to say right here and right now, I don't care what people eat. I just want them to be honest with themselves about what they're eating and the potential repercussions. I'm totally fine with anyone doing whatever the fuck they want, and I think that they should absolutely do that. But when you slaughter a pig, it shits himself. All over the place.
Well,
and then they
you
spray it down with a hose.
You slaughter pretty much anything and it shits itself.
Yeah. It voids all the
Once
milk.
again, you're
Welcome-
fine with eating anus that has recently shit itself.
Welcome to the
in
fifth
death.
episode of The Kill Closet, where Jeremy illustrates the finer points of slaughtering various creatures of God in a small, cramped space.
Jeremy, how do you feel about the movie Human Centipede?
I have never watched any of the Human Centipede movies.
Neither have I. I said there was one. I misspoke.
I
guess there
don't
are
hate
lots.
horror. Or I hate horror movies in general. I wouldn't do that as a topic for this podcast because I feel like there are a lot of people who hate horror movies, with the exception of I know I need to go see Get Out. I will at some point. Even though I am, at the risk of making this race chat the podcast where three white men quietly talk about race in a closet so as to not upset anyone. I am just the whitest white that ever did white. But that said, I really want to see Get Out.
You are Darth
I'm-
Vader after he takes off the helmet.
Yeah.
I think I'm paler.
I've got better hair. But come on. That should be a gimme. He has no hair.
No, it doesn't.
Okay,
So-
so you're fine with eating the anus of an animal.
I will. Not only am I fine with it, I will eat most animals, and if you tell me their anus is involved, I'm fine with that.
So here's the question. Would you do so if the anus is still attached to a living animal? Namely, how do you feel about bestiality?
No, I want my food to be properly prepared. If it's still attached to a living animal, then it hasn't been properly prepared. It is best case al dente.
Ooh, all right.
Right.
Here's bringing me back to another point. Tom, jump in here with me because Mower's point.
Wait a second.
Yeah, sure.
This is your unpopular opinion, not Tom's.
Yes, but Tom will agree with me that coffee is delicious.
Yeah, coffee's delicious.
Mower's points were you have to prepare it. You can't just reach into the fridge and grab a Coke. You have to do something with
You
it
need
to make
specialized
it delicious.
equipment, Nick. It's a pain in the ass.
And what do you need with pork? Do you eat it raw?
You can just throw that shit on top of a fire.
You could make coffee on top of a fire with a percolator for camping. I've done it myself.
Ancient Mongolians, here we go, here's Professor Mower. Ancient Mongolians would ride their horses all day, and they would use the heat from the friction of their thighs and throw meat cutlets in there to somewhat cook them and be able to just eat that meat at the end of the day.
You bring up another good point. Cutlets. Let's talk about things as they actually are.
One would hope.
So, let's call hot dogs anus vehicles.
Well, it's anus, it's intestine, it's really,
Eyeballs,
it's all
anything.
sorts of animals and
And you guys
body
aren't
parts.
remotely grossed out by that.
I'm not a huge hot dog person, but I'm not.
Can we make a penis joke right there? I'm not a huge hot dog person.
Ron, go ahead and edit in some sort of sound clip referring to my small penis.
More like a dong.
Or maybe from Seinfeld. It was shrinkage.
No, we don't need to rip off funnier comedic material.
This is gold enough.
Hot dogs, they are fine. I've never eaten one and been like, bleh. But
So let's pull hot dogs aside. Speaking of which, do you dress right or do you dress left? And have you ever had pants properly fitted?
I typically dress right.
Okay, just wondering. I mean, I don't think anything should be off limits. I dress right as well. Tom, you?
That's right. Yes.
I had
Yeah,
pants
right?
fitted
Okay.
at one point
Producer
for
Ron?
a.
Whoa! 1 in 4 people dress left.
I wasn't
One in
ready
4
for that.
people.
But
Hot
you know
take.
what? That's why Ron has his shit together, whereas the three of us are just holding on by our fingernails to a very tenuous reality.
Let's also compare the chairs that we're sitting in.
Yes, Ron has a comfy office chair, whereas we have very firm kitchen chairs.
I think this one's quite comfortable. Just saying. Hot take.
Yeah.
Chairs here, comfortable.
That's because you're used to settling. You settle with your food, you settle with your chairs.
Wow.
I haven't seen Emmett in a while. I assume you settled with your baby. Like, you could have traded up at the hospital, but you're like, you know what, Emmett's fine.
All
Too
right.
much paperwork.
You bring in family. I was going to talk about parts of the animal and calling it other things, like loins, being
I wouldn't
groins,
eat
and
my baby.
ass like that. Okay, here's my question. Have you or do you eat filet mignon?
Yes.
Is it delicious?
Yes.
Then let's just call it cow infant that is dead.
I mean, that seems unwieldy
Why?
as a term.
If you saw that on a menu, would you be like, I'm going to order something else right now?
Like, let's see, what is French for, let's see, baby? Is it bébé?
Enfant?
Enfant.
Yes.
So it would be enfant de boeuf. That sounds delicious. It's all about branding, man. And I'll tell you
So
this
wait,
much.
what
in
about
5th
coq au
grade,
vin? Do you like rooster simmered in red wine for several hours?
I don't remember the last time I had coq au vin.
don't think
I
I've ever
had duck au vin at one point, which, I mean, I don't know the French for duck. I don't remember. But
Canard.
it was delicious.
See?
Holy shit,
I know.
Tom.
You
Oh, right,
fucking
because you were
owned
just
it.
in Montreal, so...
And I just said si, which just means if in French. It means yes in another language. I'm not sure which one. Portuguese?
There are two
See?
of them. You managed to... Well, actually, it might be yes in Portuguese
It's definitely if in French, and it's yes in Spanish
and Italian.
and Cantonese.
Anyways,
Yeah. I appreciate this because my wife, who I swear loves me very much, even if her feedback for the podcast is absolutely brutal,
Right.
says that I bully Tom, that I make
Wow.
it so that...
wait, this
because when
podcast could be admissible in court in the future, and producer Ron, is an accessory to you bullying Tom.
Are you still mad about me suggesting that you made a crime by facilitating a trade of drugs?
I trade drugs.
Did we do that on the podcast? Like, is that recorded?
Ron, it is.
Okay. No, I'm not angry about that, but I would totally take Tom's side in this because, why not? I like Tom.
Honestly, when she presented her argument, I took Tom's side in this, in that she said, like, when it's my topic, I'm constantly steering the conversation and saying, Tom, why do you like this?
So
and
I'm
then when it's
imagining-
not my topic, I steer the conversation and I go, Tom, why don't you like this? Which, Tom's
let me
a quiet
jump
guy.
in.
Here's
Let
a fun fact. Tom hasn't spoken for 17 straight minutes.
Let me just jump in for 1 second, and then I want Tom's take on this.
Oh, boy.
I'm imagining you guys having this conversation as pillow talk. The lights are dim. You guys are like sharing a pillow, and she's telling you how much she hates listening to your voice.
That's pretty much what it is.
And then you guys are basically like, well, let's agree to disagree. Let's shut off the light. And you go to like shut off the lights and like,
I climb
turn.
into my separate
And
bed.
no. Your bed is shared, but then as you turn off the light and you turn to your left, good night, Tom. And Tom's in the bed there with you guys, and he's like, I agree with you guys. I'm awesome. Do you ever sleep with Ron and Bridget in their same mattress? I'm assuming you guys all three
That
share
was
a
such a
twin.
confounding question to ask. But ignoring that, while we often joke that Ron is our third, that is not actually grounded in fact yet. I'm still working on him. We'll see what happens. Check back with me by like episode 10.
Okay.
We'll be right back with Code Check.
Listen to this.
Oh yeah, that ASMR goodness.
Part of waking up is getting fucking drunk.
Okay, we know this is all going in, right?
That better not go in.
Welcome back to the Code Check. I'm Jeremy Mower.
I'm Tom Domingovich.
I am guest appearance Nick McCarter.
Nick has reloaded his beer supply, so things should only get more interesting from here. Before we get started back up, we apparently have a correction because, fucking why not? Nick stated that filet mignon was baby cow. As someone who ordered meat for 2 years, I really should have been able to pick up on this. That's not what filet mignon is. Filet mignon is just a tender cut of full-grown cow.
But mignon
You're
means,
thinking of veal.
Mignon means small in French.
Yeah,
so
it's a small cut. It's a small medallion.
So yes, I was thinking veal, but I don't know the terms because I don't eat it. So, in my defense.
Because I was going to bring up right before we went to break that veal, in 5th grade, my teacher, for whatever reason, I forget how he justified it.
Did he slaughter a small human and make you eat it?
I wouldn't eat human.
Whoa. This was another hot take. I wrote this down on a piece of paper. You keep going with this, but come back to I wouldn't eat human.
Of course, I will remember that completely organic talking point. Yep. So yeah, he showed us a video wherein it showed the way that veal is prepared, which involved taking calves and tying them up by their hind hooves and hanging them upside down and basically bleeding them out. To 5th graders, he's showing this. And yet, I'm still on board. I will eat veal now.
So that is another big problem that I have with, not you guys clearly, because all of my talking points have failed. But I just want people to acknowledge what they are eating. I don't want people to be like, oh, I can't imagine like this thing being slaughtered. I just want to eat it when it's fully prepared on my plate. Like, know what it is. I feel the same way about fucking vegetables, you know? Like, if you can source something locally from someone who grows it, it will taste better to you because you know where it came from. You understand what it is. You appreciate it.
Yeah, but that's a very big ask because
why?
There are 400 million Americans right now. Now, if you had to guess, what percentage of those Americans are farmers? And I'm talking all kinds. Dairy, wheat, vegetable, all of them.
I mean, they're all soybean farmers. They're really, they're just soybean farmers.
Just soybean.
They are.
That's the only thing America develops.
I am joking. They're not just soybean farmers, but the people who are growing on mass scale are soybean farmers and corn growers. But I support local agriculture. I purchase a CSA. I go to farmers markets. I like to talk to the people who make my food. Lots of people who eat meat are like, oh God, I opened up this chicken package and it had blood. And then they're grossed out. They're like, oh, I had to return it because it was bloody. Oh.
But you didn't answer my question.
I didn't know there was a question.
All right. 400 million Americans.
Yep.
Percentage. So your answer can be anywhere from 0, though that wouldn't make sense, to 100.
Fake news.
Also wouldn't make sense.
Okay.
What percentage of those do you think are farmers?
All? 100%?
I'm sorry. That's incorrect.
So no.
Take a genuine guess. Because keep in mind, most American food is American-made. Like, we're not importing a lot of food from other countries. In fact, we're shipping off food to other countries.
No, mostly we're shipping off corn and soy to other countries.
We're shipping off beef to other countries.
No, mostly we're importing our beef from Argentina, where they're deforesting the rainforest, which is kind of shitty.
There are certain companies that import beef from rainforest countries. Burger King has been notorious for their deforestation of Brazil.
I'm pretty sure they have a burger called the Deforestation of Brazil burger.
We can source that.
Delicious.
Ron, do you mind looking into that real quick?
I went to
Ron's on the
Burger King
computer.
not too long ago. There was nothing like that on the menu.
Okay. So you still haven't
Answered
really...
your question?
Yeah.
So, but I want you to, you're just asking what percentage of Americans are farmers. I want to know, are you asking about factory farmers? Because I don't give a fuck about them.
All.
The factory farmers?
No, all farmers.
I don't know. It should be a larger percentage than it is. But I wish it was a larger percentage of actual growers versus factory machine-made bullshit.
2%. 2% of Americans are farmers.
So, Mo,
and that
let me-
includes all food sources. So what that means is that in order to feed our entire society, plus many other countries, in order to do that with such a small amount of people, you need mechanization. You need improvements in the technology.
So let me hold you up for a second.
Uh-huh.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. You know what's more efficient?
Don't
Come on.
do that.
Come
Oh,
on. I feel like
I'm
we're
letting
having
you
an
finish,
electoral
Nick.
debate.
That's so arrogant.
It really is. So here is my thought. If you're saying there's only 2% of farmers in the country, we need them to raise animals in a really horrible, disgusting way, like, here's a thought. It takes so much more. It's inefficient to feed people on meat-sourced proteins. It takes significantly less acreage to just grow food and feed it to them, rather than growing a lot of food, feeding it to an animal, having to give them antibiotics, having to, have a few die, having to ground up that thing that died and feed it to the other ones and cause mad cow disease. It's inefficient. It's a terrible system. If you just grow shit and eat it, it's easier.
Yeah, but that's not really the American way. See, you're
know what-
trying to stifle American jobs.
You know what is the American way? It is a lowering of the expected life expectancy. That's the American way. And you want to know what every doctor says when somebody goes in and they're like, man, I feel like shit. They're like, eat less red meat, dummy.
No, I've heard plenty of people being told that they need to eat more red meat, that they have an iron deficiency, and that the way to
come
resolve it
on.
is to eat a steak a day.
You're right. You're right. If we just ate more red meat, the life expectancy would go way up. You're
The
totally
life
right.
expectancy has never gone up.
It has been going up consistently for the last
The
several
reason,
decades.
The reason that the number has gone up for several decades is because infant mortality has become less and less of a thing. That was dragging numbers down where kids were dying before the age of 3 years old. That's going to have an effect on the average. It's not like the average middle-aged person, from the Middle Ages, I should say. They weren't just living until 40 and then dying. No, they were growing old. The number was just weighted in the other direction because babies were dying. So now that we have proper health care, ideally, and fewer kids are dying, that number has hit 72 for men, 78 for women, and it's pretty much stayed there for the last few decades.
And now it is going down.
Do you have any sources to back that up?
So when Tom brought sources to the last podcast, you were like, causation, correlation, my name's Jeremy Moore. That's pretty much what you
That's
sounded
actually
like.
pretty dead on.
That's literally dead
impression.
on. Tom, is that not accurate? Okay.
That's exactly what
Thank you
happened.
very much. So I did not bring any hard data to support anything that I'm saying. But I do think that raising somebody on a vegetarian diet will probably lead to less heart disease. Hot take.
That is a hot take.
Right?
That's a hot take. I mean, and you can get iron in many other different ways rather than just eating meat.
I chew on nails. That's how I get my iron. I have no deficiencies.
The life expectancy in the United States is at 78.74 years of age as of 2015. Now, if you look at this graph that I've pulled up on Google, you will
Fake
see
news.
that the line has stayed fairly consistent. This is from the U.S. Census Bureau,
Fake.
but it has not gone downwards.
So I heard a story on NPR. I think they're a legitimate source where they said that the life expectancy is going down. So if your data is from 2015, come on, man, it's 2018. There's gays in the military.
Jesus Christ.
You can put a man on the moon.
You can put a man on the moon anytime you want. I went there this morning.
Humans have developed over millennia as omnivores. That's evolution. There's a reason that I've got these pointy fucking canines. Why are you trying to fight that evolution by saying, oh, you shouldn't eat any land mammals?
Let me just go back to my previous point and say
Okay.
that everybody should eat whatever the fuck they want. They just need to look at the repercussions and be like, oh, that's fine. I know what I'm doing. I know that if I eat a ton of red meat and no vegetables, I'm probably going to be overweight.
Yeah, but you can eat a balance. That's what an omnivore does. People who say they're carnivores, even people who swear by the fact that they're carnivores, do not just eat meat. You will die if you just eat meat.
There are definitely people who consider a potato a vegetable in their diet, and it's a starch. It's not. You know what I mean? Like,
Bridget and I got into a fight as to whether garlic is a vegetable the other day.
that is amazing.
I feel
So
like
you were saying
I don't
I'm
know,
making
some
a
sort of
balanced
root
meal,
vegetable
and I'm
she
eating
had
garlic on my potatoes and red meat.
She is a wonderful provider, and I'm a horrible misogynist. So she made dinner. She made chicken parmesan and spaghetti and garlic bread. And she said, crap, I forgot to include a vegetable. And I'm like, there's garlic in the bread. And she yelled at me that garlic isn't even green. And I said, if you let it go bad, it does. So I feel like I won that argument. It's fine.
Did one of you just Google it rather than getting into a fight? That's all you have to
No,
do.
I saved my Googling for the closet.
Phrasing.
I really hope that's a sexual innuendo.
Tom,
Yes.
do you have any points that you can throw at Nick? I'm going to sip quietly.
Any
while-
daggers you can throw
please.
my way?
Nick, stop being a bitch. That's all I got.
You are kind of being a bitch, Nick.
How so?
You're just
You are
got that-
denying the biological imperative.
Why
We are
are
the-
you saying that we must eat something just because we do eat something? It is a acquired taste. On the coffee episode, you say, why would I want to acquire something? Why would I work to taste something, to make something taste good when I could just eat things that already taste good?
If it's something that you have to train your body up to be able to tolerate, then it can't be good. Wait, meat's an acquired taste? Are we
Sure.
willing to concede that point? I'm not sure.
I don't think it's. I mean,
if you refer, even though the kid threw half of that hot dog on the ground, he still ate half that hot
I
dog.
sure did.
Does the hot dog taste good without anything, any preservatives added, any artificial flavors, any condiments? Do you
Yes.
just-
I like my hot dogs with ketchup and mustard.
I will, if you make a Fenway Frank beef hot dog right now, I will eat it completely plain. On a bun, without a bun, I am fine either way.
Well, we're in luck because I have one in my pants.
He just pulled out a hot dog.
I'm doing some dog training, and my dog trainer said slices of beef hot dog are really the best way to go when you're training a dog. So, real life hot takes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Because I've seen
I
your
have
dog.
handled lots and lots of sliced beef hot dogs, and they smell disgusting, and they look disgusting.
Because you lost your taste for it. You specifically threw
So you're
that
saying-
part of
you're
your
saying
humanity
if you
away.
don't use it, you lose it? So
Yes.
my only aversion to tasting meat is the fact that I haven't had it?
Yes. For the same reason that if I drank a beer now, it would hit me like twice as hard as it used to, because I don't drink anymore.
Yeah, but you're like meat drunk 24/7.
I am not meat drunk.
You
Sometimes
drink
I have the
blood in
meat
the morning.
sweats.
So let's go back to you said you would not eat another human.
Yes.
Would you eat a cat?
Yes.
Would you eat a parakeet?
Yes, absolutely.
Would you eat Ron's cat, Lily?
She looks a little stringy. How's she being prepared?
Let's say filet mignon. I don't know what that's a thing.
that's-
What does that
that's-
mean?
That's been
Specifically,
sliced.
that's a cut of beef.
Could you make that cut on a cow?
I do not
tiny
believe you
cat?
can. You don't have pork filet mignon. That's not how steaks work.
Okay, so let's say
I would say
let's
if
say
you
deep fried.
if you killed Lily, sorry Ron, you deboned her. You obviously skinned her so that there wasn't fur and
This
shit
is
in there.
really making
and
me
then,
uncomfortable. How
And
can
then
this
you
not be making
shred
you
it up
uncomfortable?
until she's either ground or shredded like pulled pork. Slow cook. I'm fine with that. I would totally try that.
Ron, can you remind me to kick his ass because he wants to eat your fucking cat?
No,
dude.
you were asking a hypothetical. Gun to my head, would I eat Lily?
I never said.
And the
gun to
answer
your
is
head.
yes.
I never said that. I just said, do you want to eat Lily right now? And you described exactly how you'd like her prepared. You sick fuck.
Yeah, Ron, I want to apologize for Mower's bullshit.
I'm gonna have to put a disclaimer in this part. You know?
Yeah.
Anyways, you would eat cat. Would you eat parakeet?
You already asked that. The answer is yes. I would
you
totally
eat
try it.
Parrot.
Yes.
Would you eat a bald eagle?
They are endangered.
They're endangered. That make
Do
it
I
even-
have legal indemnity?
You're a Native American. Yes, you do.
I don't think that's how it works,
No.
but yeah, I'd totally try it.
Wow.
There's no kind of bird I wouldn't eat, so that's...
A
Would you
crow.
eat? What about rat?
I would totally eat crow.
You
I mean,
would eat a
you
crow?
basically
Ooh.
eat crow all the time.
Rat, that's a good question.
Would you eat a rat?
I think if rat were cubed and served in a taco, I would try it. Assuming that everything's sanitary,
Man.
that's the thing. Because there are very strict guidelines by the FDA as to what kind of meat can be sold. So I'm assuming I'm not going to get like sepsis from one of these things.
What about horse? Would you eat horse?
Absolutely. In fact, Taco Bell was busted in the early 2010s for having horse meat in their ground beef. And I'm like, well, it was
Are you
fine tasting to me.
You've already basically stated this, but you're fine with eating things that have their like parents die a horrible death and grind them up and then eat them? You're fine with mad cow disease, eating chickens that have fed
No,
on
I'm
other
not
chickens?
okay with mad. Oh, I see what you're saying. As
know?
feed, I am okay with safe preparation and maintenance standards. So factory farming isn't producing an illness risk in humans.
Absolutely it is, because it's the only way you can do factory farming is giving them antibiotics. And if we get an illness now, oops, little Janie is she's menstruating at 10. Sorry,
She's what?
menstruating.
No.
At 10.
Menstruating, and
No.
she has an immunity to antibiotics.
Menstruating.
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 I want you to say it correctly because, as Tom can attest, I get hung up on this sort of shit.
You know how we get.
Mansplaining.
Yeah.
Well played.
That
So
was
what
very
I'm
good.
saying is that you have children ingesting antibiotics and human growth hormones, or just growth hormones in general, not HGH necessarily, but hormones to make the meat fat, and antibiotics so that they can survive in a goddamn factory where they live, because it's a shitty place to live for any animal.
Yep.
And then you have people ingesting that, and then you have effects. And you're saying it doesn't make them less healthy.
What effects?
What if you get sick and then you can't take antibiotics because you're immune to them because you've been eating them for fucking forever?
The sort of antibiotics that are going to work on a chicken are... Sorry, I'm going to lean forward because I'm
Thank
echoing a
you.
bit. The kind of antibiotics that are set to work on a chicken function differently than the antibiotics that work on a human. You do get that, right?
But you're saying that constant ingestion of antibiotics is not maybe having some impact on our ability to take antibiotics when we actually need them?
I see no scientific reason to suggest that does.
This is more causation versus correlation once again. Okay.
You just, you're I recognize what this is. You're starting to get, like, roiled up like Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Like, but American people aren't asking about the antibiotics. They're worried about jobs and, like, oh, don't I feel like a piece of shit for not thinking about jobs at that given moment.
Let's move on.
So you...
Throw something at me.
Yeah, let me be plenty organic here.
Sure.
Ha ha ha. When I say, you wanted me to lob Thanksgiving at you and remind you that that's a thing. Talk to me about Thanksgiving, the carnival of meat, as I like to call
it. Is
it.
a magical holiday. If Ben Franklin had gotten his way on Thanksgiving, we would be eating eagle.
Because he wanted turkeys to be the national bird.
Correct.
Turkeys go around in packs, wandering aimlessly, attacking other creatures that they run into. Sometimes they march around in a circle for seemingly no reason. I think the turkey would have made a fine mascot for the American dream.
I 100% agree. And that is why this Thanksgiving you're coming to my house and I'm serving you bald eagle.
I cannot speak against that enough, not because I wouldn't try it, depending on how you've prepared it, but because you would be committing
sour bald
another
eagle.
crime. Sweet and sour? Fuck yes.
With sesames on top.
Because,
Sesame seeds.
the thing about bald eagle is you have to worry about it being too gamey because, there is some really defined muscles in there, and I think a sweet and sour sauce would kind of mellow out and tenderize some of that gaminess. So I think that could work.
Okay. Do you mind if I serve a glass of chilled eagle's blood on the side?
Yes, because you are breaking laws. Can't emphasize that enough.
So there are laws to guide us.
And to be polite, yes, I will try your chilled eagle's blood. I may not enjoy it, but that's the difference between meat and fluids. It's not like, oh, you like meat, so you must like eating pig feces. No, those are two separate components.
But you like eating pig assholes. We've already covered this.
I'm fine with that because they're cleaned. They're feces free.
Yeah, it's sterile. The poop is not sterile.
Poop isn't sterile.
It's not.
It would take a lot of equipment to do that. So yeah, what do you do for Thanksgiving?
Pumpkin pie, apple pie, usually quiche.
All desserts.
Seriously. Cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes. There are plenty of things to eat without eating turkey.
Everything that you've named is overwhelmingly sweet with the exception of mashed potatoes and a quiche.
What about
which
stuffing?
I have never heard of someone presenting a quiche at Thanksgiving before. I would probably look at it and be like, the fuck is that?
A quiche would be casting its pearls before swine at your Thanksgiving feast, Mueller.
Well, I would eat that swine.
Asshole
and all.
first. God damn it all, you beat me to the punch. Anyways, there are plenty of things to eat at Thanksgiving without eating turkey.
I agree, and a lot of delicious animals to eat at Thanksgiving instead of turkey, which, honestly, not a huge turkey person.
Huh.
I find it's very easy to dry it out. Mm-hmm. And it's a pain in the ass to prepare.
I have another point, and that is that meat, the times that I have tasted it, it tastes like badly dried out tofu. It's chewy. And it only takes on the flavor of what you add to it. There's no one who's eating just chicken breast, just totally, just boiled chicken breast. That sounds disgusting.
Some people do that.
Okay, but most people are adding some sort of thing to make it palatable. Like coffee, adding a little bit of cream to just kind of take the edge off.
Palatable, like the term palatable, you're suggesting that if someone just ate that item, they would be like, no. No, it's just bland. There's a difference. Tofu is bland.
Tofu is very
And
bland.
chicken, unseasoned, is not bland?
It can be bland.
You're talking in circles, Mower.
It's good. The chicken has a good chicken flavor to it.
I'm not saying tofu isn't edible, though there are times where I wonder, but I've had good tofu before. But, like...
Have you ever had a chicken you didn't like?
I've had undercooked chicken before. Chicken always makes me worry a little because there's that potential for undercooking it, which is...
let's talk about this. There's a potential your food choices will kill you at any given moment.
Any food could kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Choking
Less
hazards.
so. You reduce the risks by
Allergies.
potentially not eating something that is undercooked. Every fucking menu in the U.S. says that.
I feel like there's at least one vegetable where if it's undercooked, like that's a potential health hazard.
Green potatoes? You know what I mean? Like what? What's undercooked?
I
that
can't
could kill
think of
you?
anything, and since I'm not going to make up statistics,
I have 9 out of 10 times I'm correct every time. I've never made up a statistic.
Tom, save us.
What about kale?
What about kale?
You have to cook it, right?
It's tasty.
But do you get sick if you don't cook it? Or is it just
No.
like not even...
No, it'd be really chewy on the way down, which is not unlike every meat product I've ever tasted.
You have to wash your produce. You have to certainly wash lettuces, which there have been documented issues of lettuces being grown in Mexico and being shipped to big companies like McDonald's, where they do not give a shit about the quality of it, that have made people sick.
Here's the problem. You say they don't give a shit. What happens is that a farmhand did shit on or around the lettuce when they were picking
You're
it.
suggesting that they're just popping a squat right there in the
Yes,
fields.
and usually that is how people get sick from vegetables, is that and that alone. Whereas if you buy chicken that is totally wonderfully prepared, you've washed the asshole a lot once it shit itself, and you take it home and you prepare it just by cooking it a little bit too, not enough, you die.
Can I cut you off?
Absolutely.
Did you hear about the E. coli breakout in romaine lettuce that was coming from Arizona? That'll kill you.
Oh,
That'll make you very
There's
sick.
just a big recall of romaine. I feel
Let's
like there's
put in
one
one
not too
column.
long ago for peas.
Let's put in one column all the recalls for vegetable products, and then let's put in another column the people who have gotten sick from mishandling meat products. seriously, you're going to say that the vegetable column is a lot more people getting sick than the people who are just like...
No,
"Yeah,
but
I
we're
had
saying that there's a possibility.
There's a possibility walking out your door that you can get hit by lightning. If it's less of a possibility, I'm going to take that, reduced risk. You are so done with me. All
This
right.
conversation has gotten way too serious, for one.
I want to say that I preface this by saying that I don't give a fuck.
May
Just
I
eat what you
cross-examine?
want, Eat what you want, but just know that if you have high blood pressure because of what you're eating, or if what you're eating is potentially making you less susceptible to have antibiotics work well on you, then just know that and accept it and move on.
It does sound like you're using a lot of hazy science here, where you're assuming GMOs are going to hurt, antibiotics are going to affect humans poorly. While I can certainly understand the theory, there's no documented evidence of that being the case. But
I agree,
that
and
said,
that
I
is
do want
why-
to try and just analyze you for a moment. You said, do you work at a co-op, or have you worked on your own farm before?
My wife has worked on a farm for
All right,
a farm share.
even better. So your wife has worked at a farm share,
And I have been active in various co-ops. in my day.
and she's talked to you about how things have gone for her, correct?
Yes.
Have either of you, and please don't lie about this, have either of you in the middle of working your fields, dropped your pants, taken a squat, and pooped right there on the fields?
I
No.
can't say that I have.
Have you worked at a co-op, Tom?
No, I just wanted to be included. You know how I get.
Guys, you've been muscling me out for the last 25 minutes.
Mower and I have like locked eyes, like two lions. Like
Yeah, well, I
cheetah.
can see you without looking through the chicken wire, so that just makes sense. Okay, so you eat tofu instead.
Yes, and here's the thing: have you ever slaughtered a chicken?
No.
I've made tofu from scratch. Boom. Hot take. Mic drop.
Yeah, I haven't built a microphone either, and yet I still use this one. That's the whole point of our modern day economy, is that people who have the know-how can provide for those who don't.
Oh,
without...
and so there is no DIY movement, and you totally, it just doesn't exist. It's not anything.
There's an
Your wife
anti-vax
isn't- your
movement,
wife
and
isn't
it's
part
stupid
of
as
that.
shit. Like, I'm all for people developing skills, but if you're then developing those skills so you can lord it over those of us who trust professional farmers to do their jobs correctly, that's shitty.
If you,
It's like
you place your
craft
trust
beer
in them.
brewers or coffee makers. See episode, what was coffee?
2.
Two.
Episode 2, Mower
Hey,
hates coffee.
number 2, coffee.
Coffee.
Anyone? Poops?
That's
Yeah,
funny.
it makes you poop.
Thank you.
Makes you poops.
That's funny.
Yep.
It's good stuff.
What do you eat at you like baseball, right?
Sure do.
What do you eat at a baseball game?
Well, let me just put a little asterisk here. I like baseball live, but baseball not live
Yeah.
on the TV is boring as shit.
So you will answer the question, defendant.
I feel
You
like
go to a
you're putting me
baseball
on
game.
trial here.
Live.
Yes.
Well, you've taken a very adversarial tack to this. This lighthearted, fun-loving, free-spirited podcast. You have come in here and sullied with your talk of pigs' anuses and antibiotics and factory farming, and I
Mower, I
want to
expected
make
way
this
more
podcast
yelling.
great again.
I wanted more yelling from you.
I'm getting there.
expected more yelling.
I'm getting there.
I really wanted you to yell at me. And
We
so
are
I
going to
came
be in the
here-
reds on Audacity, my friend.
I came in here with arrows to throw, and you were like, I don't know. I don't mind pig anus. I love it. It tastes good. I love to lap that shit up with mustard.
So what do you eat at a baseball game?
Pig anus.
Seriously, though.
Peanuts.
You
Cracker
eat
Jack.
peanuts. Are you just saying cliche things? Nick McCarter, I want you to zero in. You're not holding the banner
The
for the
last
vegetarian movement.
Red Sox game that I went to,
Okay.
I had a Smittix. It cost me about $15.
All right.
I probably had some nachos.
Nachos, good
Had
one.
some melted Velveeta on that, which is really like basically no dairy anyways. Maybe some peanuts because somebody near me ordered peanuts, but I wouldn't pay for that because they're like $11 at a baseball game. And it takes
So you're mooching off of other
Yeah,
people's
I was
peanuts?
about to say, you're a freegan.
That's not very nice.
wow. You just that escalated so quickly.
Yeah.
You asked me what I wanted to eat at a baseball game, what I did eat at a baseball game, and all of a sudden you're throwing stones, man.
You're going in the dead of night and breaking down people's sheds and stealing their plywood to build your shitty Etsy pedal boards, and
They are not shitty. They are of high
they are actually,
quality.
I have seen them. They
They're
are
amazing.
fantastic quality.
Thank you.
Oh my God, this conversation has taken it out of me. I need a nice juicy steak or a good hamburger.
So let me just
Here, you know
let
what?
me
Let
list
me.
some people who are famous people who eat meat and famous people who don't eat meat.
You do
Adolf
that.
Hitler
Do
loves meat.
Do that quietly away from microphone because I want to try and incorporate Tom.
Oh boy.
Tom.
Yes.
Beef, pork, chicken. How would you rate them?
Pork number 1.
Pork number one.
Pork
Do you
number
have a
one.
preference for pork?
I'd have to say, bacon. Bacon's amazing. Sausage. It's amazing. Yeah.
Anything you don't like from those three? Like any specific dishes or parts?
Not that I can think of, no.
Tom, can you give me a kill, marry, fuck of pork, chicken? What was the other one? Bacon? Veal?
Beef.
Beef? Whatever.
I would marry the pork.
Mm-hmm.
I would.
Would you pork the pork?
That's funny. That's
Right?
fun. Thank you. That's
Rim
good
shot.
stuff. That's good stuff.
Thank you.
I would, marry the pork. I would, fuck the, I would fuck the beef.
Good
and I'd
call.
kill the chicken.
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The pork is the sophisticate of the group.
Yeah.
The beef is the impulse fuck. And chickens are just
Chickens is-
horrible.
yeah.
They're awful little velociraptors.
I will say, I think of the various items on that list, I do not like chicken breast. It takes forever to cut it and get all the meat off the bone. And like with ribs, like it's very simple. You split it off, you bite into it. With chicken breast, it's like have fun navigating this fucking rib cage.
Yeah.
So that was one of the other points that I had was when I went away to college and I was like, you know what? What the hell? I was raised vegetarian, might as well try some meat. And I tried buffalo wings and actually asked whether it was beef or chicken. But I was eating them off the bone, and there's very little substance. You're just like chewing fat and bone, trying to like get any protein from it. And they taste kind of shitty, except for the fact that they're spicy, which is delicious. Like, it's too much work. If you just ate another protein source, it's not as much work.
Actually, I'd have to say I'd marry the seafood. We
Honestly-
haven't talked about seafood yet.
I know because this is the
But you're okay eating
Yeah,
seafood.
Nick is a
So,
pescatarian.
so maybe you want to talk about that,
so
you
here's
son of
the
a bitch.
thing. I think of catching a fish with my own rod, penis joke, and my own hook, penis joke.
Not really.
No,
Yours has a hook?
I mean not severe,
But keep it going.
Okay.
Don't veer from the path.
all right.
Yeah. Stay focused, Nick.
Veer from the path.
Veer from the path.
It's a bit of a dog leg. Anyways, Ron, please edit that out.
He's not going to do it.
Nope.
Anyways,
He'll make it louder.
Anyways, getting back to seafood, I catch a fish, I kill the fish, I clean the fish, I cook the fish, I eat the fish. I've done all of the steps. I consider that a survival skill, and I'm totally fine with it. And you guys are both checked out, so I'm the one on the mic.
I am not checked out. I just got a message from our producer, Ron Rucci, who is a professional,
Yes.
noting that we are running a bit long.
Oh, boy.
I feel like we've resolved nothing, which kind of tends to be the pattern with these podcasts. Really makes you question what the point is in general, which, Tom and I have done a lot of soul searching.
Yes, we have.
Nick, how do you think things have gone?
I mean, I think we're still exactly where we started, where I don't eat meat except for what comes from the sea, and you guys eat meat, and we totally all are friends.
Yeah, we're
Let's
still
sing-
good friends.
Let's go out on Kumbaya. Can we do that?
Let's hug and just fuck in this little closet. Really
Sweaty ass
just
closet.
form a snake-like ball.
Oh, what about
And-
methane gas? You ever have some bad farts in this closet?
I have to say, methane is a concern. Like,
there's a-
Wow! All my points. The last one in the last 20 seconds of this podcast, you're like methane. Yep, totally methane.
yeah, because it's having an ecological impact. I understand your concerns about the factory beef industry. But that said, Meat's still delicious. You've done really nothing to disprove that aside from try to come up with the weirdest fucking animals we could eat, which if you deep fry it and serve it on a street stand, I will eat it.
Rump roast,
I mean, yes,
pork loin,
absolutely.
pig anus,
As already documented, yes.
eagle testicles.
I don't think eagles have testicles. They have a cloaca. No, wait, that's lady eagles. We'll have to get Scott Crockett in here, who I realize would make a great guest.
Yes, he
Terrific
would.
guest. Terrific guest. I would very gladly share this throne that I warmed up for the last few hours
Not your throne.
with Scott Crockett.
Can't emphasize that enough.
I want to mention, though, Scott Crockett has yet to listen to an episode of this podcast.
I really
I
hope
don't
he does
believe
to this
Scott
one.
listens to podcasts.
Yeah.
I
But-
find that a lot of older people are kind of intransigent in that regard, where they're like, I'm not going to bother
You're saying
learning.
that he's older?
Yeah, isn't Scott like 50?
He's older than I am.
He's a year younger than I am, I think.
He's old. Anyway, Nick McCarter, thank you for coming on. This may be the last time we have you on, considering your blood alcohol's probably at a 0.2. No, I'm kidding. You've been great. Is there anything that you want to promote?
Legalize it.
Thank you.
Tom, do you have any thoughts to close us out?
Legalize it.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you
me,
all
guys.
for listening. Join us next time when we discuss how much Mower hates skateboarding.
Okay.
See you then on a very special, very mobile, kind of pretentious episode of The Coat Check. Thanks for listening. Ron?
Yeah?
Ron, like, when I say Ron, it's the theme. You want to, like, stop recording. Okay? This episode brought to you by the folks at the Central Massachusetts Podcast Recording Agency. Sound equipment by Nick McCarter. Boom mic, Nick McCarter. Gaffer, Nick McCarter. Executive producer, Ron Rucci. Sound editing, Ron Rucci. Your hosts are Tom Dominkovich and Jeremy Mower. This entire thing has been a giant waste of time. That's how we know Ron won't include this, because there's a mild rasp to it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're safe.
Ah, shit.
Say all secrets right now. I am not recording.
I don't believe you. Yeah, your silence says it all.
I had a nightmare last night that I was pulled over for speeding and my car got towed.
I want to say that I had another dream about David Ruiz.
You waited a little long to bring that up.
I bet you Ron is still recording. This will still make the podcast.
No, it won't. We're already at like an hour 10. He has to edit so much shit out from our conversation in order to make this fit.
I had a dream I was forced to transfer to Shrewsbury. And David Ruiz and I were working meat together.
Forced to transfer.
Yeah, I was forced to. Dave's like, pack your shit. Get out of here.
I love you anymore, and all this is a summer say,